All right, we're on site here with a house that suffered severe floodwater damage. And of course, again, as you're starting your cleanup, you're going to get rid of all the food that's starting to decay from the loss of power, and also they got trapped inside your refrigerator and freezer during that time. And so when you bag all that material up, it becomes real important to dispose of it carefully because it'll start attracting flies very quickly. The other thing is you want to make sure you put it inside of a trash can of some sort, because if you just put those bags out along the side of the road to be picked up, you're going to find out that overnight wildlife in the area has probably come and torn that apart looking for something to eat. All right, termites are probably the furthest thing from your mind when you start to recover from severe flooding due to a storm. But you need to be planning ahead as you begin repairs on your house. And one of the first things you really need to do is contact your insurance company to find out whether they will help you in terms of getting your house retreated for termites as you start through the progression of repair work. You'll notice the problem over here happened that as they were doing some repairs, they piled up a lot of soil. And this soil isn't treated with a chemical, a termiticide, but your soil may have been treated along your foundation. So you now have essentially a bridge that termites can use to bypass that treatment and get into your house and potentially cause damage years later. And so that's something you want to address at some point. So if you have a contract with a termite company, you want to contact them as well and let them know where you are in the progression of work so they coordinate their work with your contractor as they do repairs, because they can get that treatment redone without disrupting the rest of the repair work as well. So this house suffered some structural damage as well from the flood waters undermining the footer, that poured slab on which your foundation sits. You can see the cracking all along this area right here. And obviously that's important in terms of the structural integrity of your house, but also because termites only need a gap about 1/32 of an inch, and they can go from the soil up into the wall and start feasting on your studs as well as on the floor system as well. So you need to get up again with your pest control service that does your termite work, have them coordinate their work with your contractor as they do these repairs to your footer. Okay, so this house has a termite baiting system instead of a liquid treatment of the soil. And again, if you think about it, a bait is something that the insects, in this case termites, are going to find attractive to eat. Unfortunately, the flood waters contain all sorts of chemicals, from oils to gasoline to pesticides floating off, and they have contaminated that bait station, so the termites won't feed on the bait at this point. So you again need to contact your termite company, let them know about the flooding, and they'll come out and they'll replace those baits for you. And they shouldn't charge you for that in most cases. If not, again, make sure you talk to your insurance company about covering that cost. So as you're cleaning up, of course, you're going to be making small piles of trash that hopefully will be discarded and carried away fairly soon. But in the interim, you got to keep in mind that as you make these piles, they can become homes for unwanted pests such as rodents, snakes, and other wildlife of the sort. You can see in this pile here, we have some discarded pet food and actually poultry feed. And that's going to be a sure attraction to things like rodents, in particular raccoons and even opossums. So as you make these piles, realize that if you have to move any of these items, the longer they stay in place, the more likely they've been occupied by something else. And you want to protect yourself always when you're picking up anything like this. Wear gloves. And make sure you can see where the ends of your hands are as you remove items. Don't stick them into a deep hole because something could be occupying it. So just use a lot of common sense whenever you start to move piles, especially if you're moving them into a truck to be taken to a landfill.